camera right there, right? And I think we're live. I think we are 4 seconds. We're away. Hi, Lily.
Beautiful. Hello, how are we?
I'm very well. I'm just going to try and see if I can see the posts. I don't know how you meant to see the comments. But hi everyone. By the way, we're sort of live again. Lily and I decided to do a bit of a longer one today because I think LinkedIn's recommendation is that you don't do anything less than 10 minutes. So for some reason, we're meant to be doing. Oh, it says Carl Goff is live right now. Ooh,
yeah, I just saw it as well.
And I reckon. Oh my God, there's a bit of a delay.
You're playing us.
Can you hear it? You can't hear it.
I've turned my volume off. Yeah, I could, but it's fine. We're back.
Okay. So I'm hoping we can see some comments coming through on this. And hopefully, I reckon there's people sat at their desk right now, not at the desk, or probably sat at home waiting for you to come on.
There's someone at home.
No, you know what? I reckon they miss you because you're going to be this bright bit of magic that we're going to be bringing to people's lives, which is, I think it's beautiful. There's magic everywhere. So where do we start? Because there's so much great stuff happening, and we've been talking to some people today about coming on this, not even a show, we're calling it a show now. People coming on and joining us for a conversation, and we've got some really exciting news, right?
We do indeed. We always have exciting news.
It's
always exciting with meeting for good.
And it's all going to start tomorrow with our friends from Starlight who are going to come on and have a chat about the Meeting for Good.
Indeed, they are.
Which is really exciting. So I'm really excited about that. But I guess in the hope of trying to spread this broadcast out a little bit, I wanted to just let people know about how this thing started, how this whole idea to raise money through business meetings kicked off. And I know when I tell this story, people get kind of flabbergasted about it, but it was probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago now. I got involved with a company called Aruba, and I was working with them doing this Wi-Fi stuff. But it was one night during my time when I was working there, I was sat at home with my daughter, and we were watching this TV show called Growing Up Poor in Australia. I think it was on the ABC, and it was basically it was a documentary about a suburb called Claymore. Now, Claymore was or is a suburb out west, and it was basically an entire suburb that was built by the Australian government in 1975 to house the poorest of the poor. And so they built this suburb, and all of a sudden, 3 generations later, there are hundreds of families up there that have watched basically poverty happen. So you've got this cycle of poverty, and this is what the documentary was showing. And some say it was accurate, some say it's not. But one of the things that it sort of resonated with me was because it was exactly how I grew up. It was the same sort of things. It was council houses, it was struggle, it was poverty. I remember as an 18-year-old, and this might shock a few people, but I wasn't born into privilege at all. I was raised very, very humbly with council house as well, and I left school at 15, left home at 16, and so for me, struggle was always there from the very beginning. Even I used to babysit for a prostitute's children while she went and earned money. That was my life back then, and it was a struggle. So when I saw this documentary, I immediately thought this is wrong. It's just completely wrong. It shouldn't be here, 50 miles from my place in Darling Point, overlooking the harbour. I should not be seeing documentaries where there's kids. And they said there was 1,500 kids under 15 going to school, hungry, no hope, no dreams for the future, nothing, and none of that. So my daughter and I jumped in the car, and this is crazy because it was like going back in time. And it was like going back to my suburb in Nottingham called St Anne's, where it's the same sort of thing. You drive into the suburb and you see boarded up windows, and you see people hanging around on the streets, up to no good, trying to survive and whatever. And so we saw all this out there, and it was kind of interesting to see. But the long and short of it is, we went to the school, and we asked the school if my daughter and I could help inspire some of these kids. And so we got agreement to bring every child from year 3 to year 6 to Bondi Beach, and we created this day of inspiration. And it was quite amazing. I went to a few of my friends. I probably should shout out. So people like David Jackson from S2M. He gave us $500, I think, for the barbecue. There's Michael Hart, I think, who was the CIO of the Commonwealth Bank at the time. He gave me $500 towards the coaches. It was Craig Goodman, gave us some money to help put the whole thing together as well. So there's some really nice, generous people that helped us fund the whole day. And then I had a friend of mine, Linda, who bought every child a bag of Smiggles with a journal and a pen and wrote an inspirational note on every single bag to say, write your dreams down, have a goal. And we sent the kids away with this bag. But anyway, we brought these coach loads of kids together. And I must show you this picture, because this, I think when I die, this will be one of my memories that just sticks in my head, because it was just such a beautiful moment. Let me see if I can share my screen very quickly. Don't know how to do this. Share. Is it on?
Yep, there we are. Hold on. Yep.
Okay, let me try and just move my mouse around. I can't even do it. Oops. Here we go. Get rid of that. So this picture coming up here. Oh, delete copy. This picture here. Oh, are you kidding? You can't even see it.
Zoom in. Zoom. There we are.
This picture here is a bit blurry, but there's about 200 and something kids in there, and there's a wallaby there. I think that's Michael Crocker. I think it was his name. And then there's some of the lifeguards like Reedy from Bondi Lifeguards.
Yeah.
And they basically did some games on the beach, and we gave all these kids an inspirational day out, and we sent them home feeling like, you know, people actually care and want to do something to help them. Anyway, this is a long story about how Meet Magic got started, right? And it was from that very day there that Channel 9, there's a lady called Sonia Mole, she heads up the Channel 9 Cares team. She and I think it was Timothy Clancy, who's a newsreader, they basically invited me to join them at this thing called a Night of Magic, which was a charity called Feel the Magic's black tie function. And so I turned up to this black tie function and got completely inspired by James and his story about how they were helping kids deal with grief. And it was from there basically that the whole Meet Magic conversation started to emerge. Yeah, I mean, that's a crazy story that can just keep going on and on and on. But maybe I'll leave the rest of it for another time. But it was a crazy start.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Anyway.
It's amazing, though. It's beautiful.
Well, I think the impact there for me it was huge. I think if we sent one of those children away and they just had, if we just inspired just one of them to make a difference to their own lives and to change the course of their destiny, it would have been a success. And so hopefully, hopefully all of Linda's comments on those inspirational notes made a difference. But that was really it. That was the starting point. And then for 3 years or so, I kicked this thing along, failing like a startup people do. They go up and down, and you take this journey. It's a really crazy journey. If anyone's been on it, where unless you submit your soul to your startup, you can't really say you've actually committed mentally and physically. And it was a journey. That was the journey that I was on for I think probably 3 years before Paul Keane, who was the head of Qantas Technology, or I think he was the CTO of Qantas Technology, he introduced me to Matt from Starlight, and that was the beginning of the whole Meetings for Good thing, which is where
we're at now.
Which is where you've come in.
Yeah.
And how are you finding it?
It's unlike anything I've ever heard of before. It's unlike anything I've ever worked with before. I've told you before, this is my first big girl job, for lack of a better word. But yeah, so this is my first proper kind of role, and I've always wanted to be in sales. I've always liked talking to people. I've always been I've always found talking very easy, if you can't tell. So I've always thought sales would maybe be a good fit, and reaching out to people and that kind of thing. But this just takes it to a totally different level because it's not just on the end of a phone selling your product. It's selling a truly magical initiative. And just it's such a wonderful thing to be a part of.
God, really, you give me goosebumps. What the hell?
It is, though. I think, it was like the other day I went to the Starlight room. Actually, it was a couple months ago now, but I went to the Starlight Express room, and I actually got to see where our money goes and where this donated $700 per meeting is donated to directly. And it was insane. It was beautiful. These kids, you would not know that any of these kids were dealing with severe illnesses and serious illnesses, because they were just so happy, and it was so lovely. And then to be able to come out of that meeting in that Starlight Express room and hop in an Uber and get on the phone and tell you all about it, and be on a little bit of a business call, and then the Uber driver goes, "Oh, you must do something really cool, because you were just you're talking about your initiative, you're talking about fundraising. I just picked you up from the hospital. What's going on?" And that's what I said. I was like, honestly, I do something truly magical. So,
and for me, when I set this thing up, it wasn't about making money as a business, but it can make money as a business. And I remember Peter Baines, who's the founder of a charity called Hands Across the Water, does amazing stuff. In fact, Peter was the lead investigator on the Bali bombing, and then I think when the tsunami hit Thailand, he was asked to go and lead that, and he led that and just got completely inspired by all the children that lost their parents, and so he started Hands Across the Water to build orphanages for these kids. Done amazing work, done amazing stuff, and it was really him. I think from the Growth Project times, that gave me just so much inspiration and confidence in this thing, and about basically how to build something that can make money, but it's okay to actually do good while doing good at the same time. And so I think when I think about the whole Meet Magic thing, it was never really about making money. I mean, for God's sake, I wear $50 Zara t-shirts. I don't go and buy bloody Gucci or something. So it's for me, this whole thing is about trying to create a brand new way for charities to raise money, a brand new easy way for charities to raise money. And every single charity on the planet has a board. Every single one of them have a board. Starlight have a board. Red Kite has a board. Peter has a board at Hands Across the Water. Everyone's got a board, and every single one of those board members are often in the corporate world, and every single one of those corporate companies are taking business meetings every single day. So the idea was, why can't we just turn those business meetings into funds for the charities, so the board members can get their companies involved and add some value? Because ultimately, if a board member is not adding value to a board, it's a big issue. I think a lot of charities right now is that getting the board members involved rather than just sitting on the board and having the title there. It's about actually doing something that's going to make a difference to the charities that they're on the board of. I can see some comments, Lily. Oh, goodness.
Look at this.
So, Richard Webb, thank you, mate. We're live. Thank you. I appreciate that. Martin Stark, you've been a complete legend, actually, helping us out, posting stuff on LinkedIn. So really, really grateful for that. And Lauren Kress, who's from the business scientist for marketing. Thanks for joining us. And Tony Burnside, you legend. He's put inspiration on there. Tony's always a great man for one words. And
he's a huge supporter.
He's a one-word mind kind of guy, though. I remember texting Tony saying, really grateful for your support, and he just sent me one word back, like inspirational.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. So it's really exciting that you've come on board, and this is your first big girl job. And
Yeah.
ultimately, I was thinking about this yesterday actually. How the old traditional structures of business and how they are with shareholder structures, it creates these sort of hierarchies, and we don't really have one of those here. There's no one really in charge. We're just all working disparately towards the same goal. And that's, I think, what inspires me is the fact that we can do that. And I've seen some companies that are struggling right now working remotely because they're trying to lead by just making people be available all the time. It's really right. Everything's changing clearly. And I think the way people lead needs to change sometimes. You need to have trust in the fact that people are actually going to do the job that they're paid to do. And I think there's a lot of people out there still not trusting that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyway, it's good to see some comments coming through. And I wanted to, I guess, with the Meeting for Good thing, which is really exciting, tomorrow Matt's going to come on and have a chat with us about the whole thing and the impact it's actually having on some of these kids, which is really, really quite amazing. And for us, I think the whole driver here is to encourage as many executives as we can to pledge 45 minutes of their time.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's our goal.
That's it. That's it. We don't really care about anything else. We just want executives who are decision makers, or you might be a director of a company. You could be a CIO, a CTO. We don't really care what kind of O you are. If you give us 45 minutes of your time, give it to Lily, and Lily will set you up with a Meeting for Good profile, which we can help you walk through, and we can basically connect you for a video conference, and that one video conference is going to put 18 seriously ill kids into the Starlight Room that you spoke about, which is
it's I think that what's so amazing about this initiative is that it's a new way of doing business. Even if you forget about the fact that $700 is donated to Starlight per 45-minute meeting, if you forget that that's just helped 18 children, seriously ill children who deal with the isolation of hospital every single day. Even if you forget about that, which I don't want you to, but even if you do, it's a way to connect the executive and the vendor, which is a meeting that would happen anyway in a seamless fashion. That's basically, and as we're doing, we've just brought on a new EA to white glove service this connection.
Maddie, we love you.
Yeah, we love Maddie. She's doing great things. But it's just a new way of doing business. And then on top of it, you've just helped 18 sick kids. You've just donated $700 has just been donated to charity. It's a no-brainer. This works, and I think that's what really needs to just be echoed. Is that?
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No. I just think that needs to be echoed. That needs to be pushed. It needs to be shouted to the rooftops, because this is a new way to do business and it works, and we need more.
And this guy who I've just put up on the screen is one of those guys that's shouting it from the rooftops too.
He is indeed.
I bet you can't pronounce his surname.
Matazak, is that it? I couldn't for ages. I used to say Andrew
Andrew Matazak. I think he's Polish. He's a Dzień dobry kind of guy. But I've known Andrew, it would have been 20 years, I think. And Andrew and I first met when I was selling, I was working with Drew Kelton. There's an old blast from the past. Drew was the managing director, I think, of Asia Global Crossing back in the day. Showing my age now. They went belly up, but that was a great period of time when I sold a deal to the Commonwealth Bank for all their international data network. This is how long I've been in sales, and that international data network is still in place today, which is amazing. And Andrew was part of the leadership team that selected us. And of course, we did lots of drinking at the cricket back in the day when it was okay to do that, but it's not anymore. But Andrew and I have kept in touch with each other for so long, and Andrew's now the CTO and the Chief Information Officer of West Farmers Industrials. which is, if you know Wesfarmers, everyone
Yeah.
does, but I think they're one of the biggest companies in the country. And there's an industrial division to it, which actually has got some amazing companies inside it, which I didn't even realise. One of them is called Corgas, which is supplying lots of gas to the hospitals right now, which is
Oh, wow.
cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And there's all these smart little companies underneath them. But Andrew, everywhere he goes, has constantly, told the story of Meet Magic. I know when he used to go to the conferences, the big events where they'd turn up, he'd walk around the vendor room and say, hey, if you want to get to me, go to Meet Magic and book some time with me. And we had customers coming to us from him walking through these conferences, which is really quite beautiful. And you've had, I must say, quite a lot of success in connecting with these execs. I mean, so bear in mind, let me just get this straight here, Lily. You're not even 25 yet.
No.
Not even anywhere near. This is your first big girl job, and already you're talking to some of the biggest executives in the country. But not only talking to them, you've actually got them helping you.
I honestly think I've just been so lucky. The people that have connected with me and been in touch with me, and their support that they've given this initiative, it's remarkable. And it honestly proves how amazing this initiative is at pulling people together and we're all working together. It's beautiful, honestly. And I think it's just because it's for such a good cause.
Yeah, I think one of the amazing things that I saw, which just completely blew my mind. So Qantas have been a huge supporter of what we've been doing, and Paul Keane, who was the instigator of the whole Meeting for Good campaign, is the CTO of Qantas, and he connected us with some amazing people inside Qantas to take some meetings. We had even Suzanne Donis, the CIO, pledged 3 meetings, and we've had some salespeople come to us and book time with Suzanne, and they told us they spent 3 years trying to get an audience with Suzanne, and they came to meetmagic.org and booked a meeting with her straight away, which was just remarkable. Yeah. But then this is a funny story, we tried to get Paul to tell Susan to spread the word to the leadership team, and she wouldn't do it. But of course, Suzanne gets an email from Lily. But what happened?
She just emailed it to all of Qantas. It was fine.
I mean, this is like a dream come true, I think, for any salesperson
really
trying to do something. And then Zach signed up, and then the head of, I think, Sydney Airports came on board.
Head of Sydney Airport, there's so many. You could honestly go on and on with that list from Qantas. The support that we've gotten from them has been beautiful, stunning.
It really has. Greetings from Chile. We've got people from Chile dialing in, Lily. How was that?
It's me.
Ulysses, hi. Yes. How are you? Thank you for joining us. But so yeah, I wanted to give Andrew a big, massive shout out, and also Brad, actually, because Brad Blythe is also on the Wesfarmers team. I think he works with Flybuys. Flybuys part of Wesfarmers? Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Harley Giles as well. He pushed us on LinkedIn today. Thank you, Harley.
Right, yeah, I saw that.
He's a part of Flybuys as well.
So what's Harley do? So Harley is the Chief Digital Officer?
I will check. I believe so. I wish I knew them off the top of my head, but we've gotten so much support, especially recently, that I'm losing track of names left, right, and center.
No, it's crazy. I want you to, because that means it's working. If you can remember everyone's names, we're not getting.
Yeah, it's not good.
But the good thing is here, Flybuys are an amazing company. Brad, they use an amazing amount of technology. So if you want to go and talk to Flybuys and have a conversation with them, and that's what these meetings are. They're literally just conversations. You can log on to the meetingforgood.org website and go and book some time, which is really quite amazing.
Yeah. So so can you tell me a bit more about how a vendor signs on? How does a vendor come and get those meetings? Is it literally that simple?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think right now, if you are a vendor, you've probably had your marketing budget not spent, because the conferences and the events that you were doing, or the roundtables and the speed dating stuff that you would normally do to get these meetings, are not happening anymore, because no one can do the face-to-face. So we're seeing a big hockey stick uptick of vendors coming to us and coming on board, because they want to continue to keep conversations moving forward. There is a write down in revenue forecast, which is quite sad, but there is an opportunity, I guess, to keep the new conversations moving forward. That is, by booking some of these meetings. Of course, we've had to move them all virtually. We've not had a single C-level or executive turn us down yet from these meetings. There were face-to-face, but they're all moving virtually, and it seems that everyone seems to be happy with that. Are you seeing the same sort of thing, Lily? They're not.
Yeah. Well, I even had a message, an email from Harley today, from Flybys, and he actually just emailed me now. And he basically said, I think he thought moving to virtual meetings was a phenomenal idea. And he thought it was great that we were going to do so well with virtual meetings, and he was really supportive of it. So that was great. And then we've gotten from our vendors that the meetings have been great as well. No downsides so far.
Well, actually, just to put some validity around that, tomorrow we're going to show some of the results from the meeting. So what we do, just so everyone knows, what we do every time, a bit like Uber, every time we have a meeting, the exec gets a rate list email, and the salespeople that have had the meeting also get a rate list email. Quick 20-second survey, click this, click this, and then we collate all that information and we look at it and we go, okay, there's an NPS score, and we can see immediately after these meetings have happened whether or not there was value delivered. And I can't tell you how good these scores are. You're going to see them for yourself, presented by, I think Matt's going to do that tomorrow. But they really are. Everybody seems to be getting value. The execs are getting value from it, because it's 45 minutes of their time, and they've got givers glow. They've got givers high. Whatever endorphins are coming from the brain because you've just sat down and you've just helped 18 kids is amazing. And I know Anastasia, she's the CIO of Westpac Consumer Division. She talks about this all the time, about everyone's got time to do good because it feels good. So yeah, we'll show some of those results tomorrow, which I'm excited about. I'm just trying to get back onto the comments. But for a vendor, the way they sign up is very, very simple. They would literally just either email me, which we're always happy to do, or they can log on to the meetmagic.org website and just submit an email from there. All our contact details are on there. Everybody's on there. We've got a couple of options available now, which is great. It's making it easy for anyone. They can literally log on to the MeetMagic platform, and they can subscribe and go into the actual platform in there and book a meeting with their credit card if they wanted to. It's that simple.
It's crazy. So good.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's that. Hi, Lynn. Lynn's our outsourcing expert. Actually, we use Lynn's service. Lynn's amazing. So Lynn's got an outsourcing service that called My Outsourcing Angel, I think it's called, or Outsourcing Angel, and they're amazing. They're really good, and we chose Lynn because she's got a really strong giving back philosophy as well, and she does a lot of amazing work for charity in the Philippines. And she runs her business providing huge value to everybody here as well. So hi, Lynn. Okay, so that's enough about Andrew. I think we can hide him. I think that's it. So tomorrow, how long have we been going?
30 minutes.
That's all right, isn't it? That's okay.
Yeah,
I think
that's
we're doing all right.
We don't want to bore everyone. We just have so much to say.
I know. Well, this is the thing. We were talking earlier. I do realize that if you're sitting at home doing nothing, sure, you've got nothing to talk about. But if you're doing and being active, starting a new business or doing something else, there's content creation absolutely everywhere now. I mean, we sat down and done this. This stuff can be turned into a podcast. Somebody somewhere is going to get some value from it. whether you're an exec that wants to come on board and make a difference, because you can sit in front of your laptop and make a difference to some sick kids, or whether you're a technology company that wants to continue to keep the conversation and the economy and your business moving forward, this is a way to do that. And it's not
100%.
And it's just value all around. So tomorrow, what's happening, Lily?
So tomorrow, for anyone that's still listening, at 2 p.m. we are talking with Nathan Brooker and Matt from the Starlight Children's Foundation. So Matt is very near and dear to our hearts because he basically helps us with the Starlight portion of our fundraiser. So obviously we're Meet Magic and the Starlight Children's Foundation. So yeah, he deals with like the Starlight end. So he's going to come on, and I think he's going to tell us a little bit of the background of Starlight, which is just some beautiful stories in that. And then we've got Nathan coming on, who is one of the salespeople from Netscope, which is a cloud security company. And Nathan is basically going to tell us a salesperson's point of view as to why he likes Meeting for Good and some of the results that he's gotten from it. So that'll be good.
And that which sounds really exciting. And we've got something equally as exciting on Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday's going to be really good. You go ahead. You tell them about Friday.
Do you think I should? All right.
No, maybe we should.
No, I think we should, because it's really exciting. I think for everybody, I think right now, mental health is on everyone's agenda. It's on my agenda. It's on everyone's lips, because there's a lot of people out there struggling, and a lot of people out there don't know what to do or whatever. So
nobody's used to this.
Yeah, exactly. So there's one person specifically who I sort of know quite well, who's in this space and has a lot of great things to talk about. His name's Gus Warland. Most people in Sydney would know him from the Triple M radio show in the morning. He's part of the Grill team. They might have seen him on TV doing the Man Up series. They might have seen him around the water polo pool with us, hugging each other and kissing each other, because Gus is really about men's mental health, but mental health specifically right now is obviously on everyone's lips. So we're going to have Gus come on and talk a little bit about what's happening in that space for him and for everybody else. And also after that, a good friend of mine called Andrew Webster, who's basically one of the head people in the cybersecurity world in Australia. So if you want to understand, if you're a cybersecurity salesperson or company, you want to understand how to target or talk to people like Andrew, then come on, watch this show, because he'll be dropping some knowledge bombs and just some stuff that's happening. And he's also really excitingly got a startup, which I'm really excited about, which he's going to talk about as well, which is all around protecting the end consumers and protecting end users, people like us right now who are working at home. So it should be quite interesting. And that's Friday afternoon, and we might do it with a beer.
I mean, it is Friday afternoon.
But I don't drink, so I'll have a non-alcoholic one.
It's all right. I'll have two for you.
Keep all your comments to yourself. So that's it. So Thursday and Friday, come back. We've done 30 minutes now. Easily, we could have nailed it for an hour if we wanted to.
We could be on here 24/7. Let's be honest.
Stretch it out. All right. Well, thank you, Lily. We'll keep going.
Thank you. Yes, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
Thanks for everyone that left a comment.
Yeah. We'll see you soon.
See you.